I think the good thing is we have I'm getting a lot of input from people in the document and also comments, which is all great. So before we go directly to the document, I just would like to give you all, maybe any comments that you have about the process and, how this is going. Any suggestions, let's maybe talk about that and then move to the, just give you a few minutes to give feedback on the, how that's.
Well, I will say I believe I included all my comments in the document, but I cannot actually access the document right now. Sometimes my firewall works weird when I'm working from home. It's like extra sensitive, and so I can't open Google sometimes, and that's what's currently happening.
Oh no, that's not good.
Sometimes if I refresh enough times, it like lets me, but we'll see.
I see. But you're able to put comments in there, right? So it's
yeah, I put comment. Well,
yeah, I see that.
Yeah, I put comments.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's good. Well, and then of course, this is not the end of it. We can definitely continue adding. There are a lot of ideas coming up, and so we should look into that. Let me just look at the chat. Oh, Tammy's saying she's having trouble hearing. Okay.
Yeah, I had her try logging out and logging back in.
Okay. Reminds me, thank you, Bree. For the next meeting, Bree was saying that it would be helpful we start a bit earlier, at least at 4 p.m. That way, she can be there for, if it goes longer, definitely will go for more than half an hour, most likely, and she can be there till the 5 p.m. So if it's okay with everyone, our next meeting will hold it at 4 o'clock, same time, 2 weeks from now.
March 1st.
March 1st. Just double checking my own calendar while we're talking.
Yeah, hi. I'm Vinay. I'm the data engineer. I'm a data engineer supporting the team.
Yeah, March 1st goes.
For like maybe like a year and a couple of months.
Works for me.
Works for me too.
Okay. So Bree, just FYI, if that's.
Yep, I'll send out an invite.
Okay. Okay. I don't know who else will be able to join, but let's go ahead and get started with the document. Okay, so I see that we have what we had decided in the last call is, we would just do a brain dump here of all the ideas, strategies, and tactics, and then we would take people's comments and then just go over them. Aster, I do see that you have, I think this is you who added this framework discussion, right? Am I right? I'm not sure. Aster? Do you see my screen? I can't hear you. Can anybody else hear her?
No, Aster, you're muted.
Yes, sorry. Yes.
This part, right? You added this.
Yeah, do you want me to share why I did that?
Yeah, let's go through that. Yeah.
This is just a framework, because always my mind thinking is that there are different jurisdictions the strategy is for the state of Nevada. So having a structure would help us to refine each individual group thoughts in terms of, for example, sustainable packaging. So we can't create the sustainable packaging initiative. Therefore, we, the member, and invite other businesses, stakeholders. Without them, we can't do anything. So when we include selected the people we believe or the businesses we believe they can actively participate in this creation, will help us to have first a working framework. So the discussion is, one, we need to do that because we need to have stakeholders engagement. In my research is we cannot do it alone or a few organizations or nonprofit or others. Another is when we say reduce over packaging, we need to define it. We need to have setting targets and other waste prevention measures. What are that measures? We want to use it. Therefore, we can use it at the end. You will see it I put it in a circular economy. We need to evaluate our work. We set the goal. This is the rate. This is the waste prevention measure. Is it working? So that is, I'm setting the framework to be able to discuss, to be able to do something together. And then very effective and long-term, short or long-term. And then the third is, define, I can't read sometimes, it just, for reusing certain packaging. Some is we may need legislative direction and policy. For example, the single-use plastic, circular economy product we are going to select. This is, in order to even to select it, it must be safe, and we need to discuss with them. You will see it in the circular. So another is disappeared. Another is how, for example, we say we don't want to reduce the material used by polymers used, considering reducing the complexity of packaging material. So how we do it, with whom we are going to do it. So it's a kind of overall structure we set on, and then everybody, you and other members and businesses, they can develop based on the selected material. We believe that we can really create around this material sustainable packaging. We grow as we go also, because we can't do everything. We just start. For example, plastic, single plastic. It's popular. We have lots of methodology. We can follow. We can do that. Textile is the same thing. There are lots of work done around it. So just that is I want to do. We can refine it together. This is a background of structure. Mm-hmm. Any comment?
I'm thinking, I wonder if PSN, Bria, maybe you can help here. Astor brings up some really good points on, as we're putting these strategies or whatever together, each one of them will probably have to be kind of looked through or looked at by stakeholders, and we have to add the measurement indicators and, like all the points she brings up. So it's, how do you, this Bree and Kayla, I guess your team, how do you want to see it included in these strategies? Should we or is that something you'll be looking at after March 31st, in the, when you get to the implementation stage? What are your thoughts on that?
So
That's me?
if there's a good standard to use for a specific strategy and tactic, like a specific measurement we should be using, go ahead and include that. But what I think you're starting to get into are the details that will happen once we start implementing some of these strategies. So definitely keep those in mind as, we're building the menu of options. But the menu of options doesn't have to be that detailed right now. Once you guys start picking the priorities, and after, when, April hits and we start, selecting projects, then those are the details when we get into the weeds for that particular, project you'll focus on. Then you'll need to know the in the weeds stuff for that. But I mean, if there's, definitely mention it. If there's something, that we know specifically we have to measure with a certain strategy, go ahead and include it. Like we're not gonna get upset if you include, too much information. But I wouldn't get stuck on it now because you're not specifically working on one individual, project right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. How does that, Astrid, does that help in the sense with, I totally agree with what you're saying. And I think we can, wherein possible, we should include like the measuring pieces and all this, but maybe it comes in the next phase, like Bree's saying. What do you think?
And we can also include this information in the menu of options saying that, projects moving forward will need to follow this framework, if that also helps.
Yeah, this is very general because that is the stage we are in. That's why I put general. I didn't go the detail I could, not. That is right. But the structure we gave us really a place to think, a place to refine our idea so that we can finish it. For example, your work is all this is single. It's so detailed, so good tactic and everything. Just some elements, if you added it vaguely for now, just we develop indicator for measurement or something like that, just one sentence. It will take us to the refined stage of March, the end of March and April.
Yeah.
But we will show them we have the structure. We have the structure to go because, again, the different jurisdiction, their level of using it may be different. For example, Clark County, it is so big, and then they have already thinking about circular economy and then all this stuff. So they may use more wider criteria than us, for example, Carson City. And then, it can do a little better. So thank you.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's a fantastic point. And yeah, we should keep this at the top level like you have it. And maybe I think for all of us who are adding the specifics here, we should think through this lens from here and then add anything we can, specifically under each one of the tactics or strategies. So thank you, Astor. That's perfect. Anybody else have any thoughts on that before I move on? Okay. Shall we just go through one by one then, through the list that's been created?
Lakshmi, sorry, this is Laura. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Laura.
My computer is a little bit slow, so I apologize. I'm going to get rid of the video. I think that will help.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to also thank Aster for bringing in the idea of a circular economy. I think we can just continue to work on what are the stakeholders so that we can just address how each one of the different components contributes to this bigger picture that she sees or she defined.
Yeah. Agreed. Totally. Okay. So, well, so we can just start with the list I started, but let's try to go through this as quickly as possible. So I'm looking at this strategy here, and Kim, I see your comment. So just basically expanding this, we will, I think you have great ideas here. We will include, I'll incorporate the comments into it. I don't know how to do it very quickly here. So for the sake of time, I'm not going to start editing right now, if that's okay with you. But point well noted. So anything else you want to add on that, Kim, or anybody else?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, that was just it. I wasn't sure if that was what was originally put was what we were just focusing on, or if you were looking to expand to other areas with a lot of high traffic locations. So I just added a couple more.
Yeah, no, at least speaking for myself, everything I've added here are all suggestions. So I'm open to more suggestions and expanding for sure. So, or changes, critiques. So, yeah, cool. So, and I see Sam, you have a comment here. Plastic refusal program.
Can I go to the previous?
Sure.
Can I go to the previous?
Yes, please.
Up. First one, yeah, here. Kim also added the comment. Can we do it, for example, a school district, the characteristics of a school district, airports and offices is different. Yeah. So can we break down the school district separately, because the elements what you detail may not be applied to another things, some. And then the airport, there are different venue there, business venue. And then for that specific, how we use it with stakeholders there, because they are businesses, they are shops and all this stuff. It's a little bit nuances, they're different. And then offices, now the high traffic office, when I think about what type of offices we're looking for social security, government, federal building, there are people coming in, DMV, for example, that is an office. So we need to define it as an office level. For example, if you go to governor office or energy, there are not many people coming through. So we need to define that. The office included blah, blah. Another, and then just like with the same strategy, just breaking down to school campuses, Western Nevada, whatever universities, and then casinos, government buildings, specify that, and then event venues, not in this, but you can't put it, the latter one, you have already detailing in that. So, and then the malls, Carson Malls, the Summit, and then also. So breaking down, and then you'll bring different additional elements you want to deal with it in terms of.
Yeah. absolutely right. They're all different,
Yeah.
completely different challenges and different ways of handling it. So, okay, another question for Bree here. How limited are we, or how expansive can we be in doing that? I think Astor has a good point in terms of, can we keep it more general like this and then expect to go into, break it down later, or shall we, like she's right, like DMV office or those kinds of things, breaking it? What do you think? What would
Yep,
work?
you can break it down.
Okay. All right. So Astor, I've noted them. Again, for the sake of time for today, I won't start editing this. I'm going to include your, take your comments into thing and expand on this, and maybe we can look at it again later. Sound good?
And Lakshmi, everyone, I just added like some of the examples that I had on how I move it up with these strategies, because I think what I wrote are some examples on how in the university where I'm at, I've been trying to reduce waste. So I just added them already. So we don't have to talk
Okay.
about those. Those are just some examples.
Is
of how
that
to implement
lower
it.
in the here, right? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just add them right there, so you don't have to do that.
Yeah. My apologies, Laura. I haven't had a chance to go through all of this because I've been
Oh no,
expecting a problem.
I just wrote them this morning, so do not worry. I'll let you continue so that we're able to finish. Go ahead. Thank you, Lakshmi.
Okay. Yeah. So, okay, just to recap what we just discussed. So we'll add more categories here and be more specific about each venue, right?
Each setting, because it's a different.
Each setting, and then break down the tactics that would need to be applied for each setting, right? And so, and then like Laura said, to be applied to each setting, and then re-review it at that time. And and then, yeah, I'll take a look at that, Laura, what you added on that, and then see how we can incorporate some of that into it. And I don't know, sorry, just want to make sure that I'm including Sam's point. Sam, do you want to speak to this, your comment a little bit, and then we see how it, we could pull it back into this document?
Sure. I think my goal was really just to have something that's more on the like user, like educational end, that might not be so, it might be like an easier in with some of the businesses. So like once the general public starts refusing plastic straws and plastic bags and things like that, maybe it'll be easier to implement some sort of policy related to that. So my thought was just kind of like ways to gently move into that less single-use plastic direction.
Yeah. Why don't we put that into, make it a separate strategy category here and add each one of these as a tactic? I think that works great. I think it's a good idea.
That's totally fine. I didn't know where to put it, so I was just like, well, I'm just going to comment right here while I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Either I can do it for you, or if you want to just, convert this into a strategy and some tactics and put it there, that would be helpful.
Okay. Yeah,
let me know. You can do it. Okay, perfect. Yes. I'm glad you brought it up. I think I like these, like you say, it's sort of a less, it's not prescriptive, but more like, gently guiding them. I think I like that idea. Yeah. So, and I think this is Kim. Oh, no, that's Astor. Okay, let me make sure that Kim, you have a couple more points in here about tactic 7. Okay. Policy ask, but establishing waste reduction center programs. So let's reword this one, huh? Kim, do you want to talk to these points a little bit?
Sure. I was just thinking along the lines of how to motivate people to implement some of these reuse programs, and usually, having some kind of incentive program. I know NV Energy, like I said, has incentives for like installing LEDs in like businesses and things like that, where you would get money back. So I don't know if there would be anything like that that we could explore at the policy level. Like I said, it might be like a policy ask, but I feel like that it would move the needle significantly in persuading people to adopt certain things, whether it's through like reuse programs or recycling programs or things like that.
Yeah. I think we need to get together with Tina and the policy team, right? Yeah, you're right. That's the thing. Maybe tomorrow in the Bree, will we have a chance to do this cross-pollination thing with the policy team, perhaps? Or
Yeah. So maybe that's something we can bring up at the chair meeting tomorrow. Working with them to do some sort of, if we have to do like a discussion with them to bring some of their people on.
Yeah. Okay. So Kim, I'll make sure hopefully you'll be there too. So maybe between the two of us, we could bring this up and how to do the bring it into their radar.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. I'll note that down. And moving to the next one. Yes. Thank you, Astor. The tourists. Well, at least it looks like we have everybody, likes this idea. So, I'll incorporate this, Astor, your comment as well in this. And perfect. And moving on. Mobile source, yeah, okay. Sam, I'm reading your comment on this one.
Oh, she hopped off just a moment ago.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's too bad. And I know, Bree, you had to run too. But
I'll be on I got approval to stay for another half hour, so.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. That helps. Since Sam is not here to talk about it, what does everybody think about this idea? To go container and I think she means more like made with silicone or rubber, right?
Yes, yes, they're made of silicone, and you collapse them so you can put them in your bag. Yeah, I have seen some of those.
Those are pretty good ideas. Yeah, so they can maybe add. So okay, I'll definitely incorporate that idea into this
Yeah,
as well.
encourage the vendors because
Mhm.
there's money in it. We need to pay. Nobody does that. So, but if we encourage them, give them some incentive, they may bring some type of things or promotion
Yeah,
of their.
and in the same way, like have reusable bottles that they can, it's like our opportunity for them to just advertise their logo, but and then also include like where they can refill the bottles, right? Because they or like refill their coffee containers. Starbucks and other coffee vendors used to accept you bringing your coffee mug and you got like basically I don't know, relatively like a very small discount. But if there's some kind of encouragement, even if it's 25 cents every time you refill it or whatever, it will be encouraging to do so, especially now that we're kind of progressing with COVID, or we know a little bit better how to manage that, to reduce waste in those types of businesses as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think you added this picture here of, I think, a bottle that has a map of all the places where you can refill. That's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah, that's something that in the Sustainability Council somebody actually brought up to our attention. So, yeah. So it's an opportunity to put like where the Starbucks are in the city, right? And I know everyone has them if they want to. If it's just it's just a way of advertising themselves at the same time as they are actually promoting reduced waste.
Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, the brand loyalty piece. So that's for sure.
If
Cool.
if I say something, with this type of things, by doing this, we will see it in the circular economy. There is a new business will be open for this because sustainable product, this become a sustainable product or services. Therefore, we'll evaluate them, something like that. So we can be brief on that too.
Oh yeah, so we would put it in the other document. Yeah, I agree with you. Perfect. So let's see. So just making sure, Laura, did everybody get to read the comments that Laura put in today, this morning? Because I haven't had a chance to. So just want to take a time on that.
Lakshmi, if you want, I can talk about the one that one of the one that I added. It's just an example of what, like we tried with one of the schools. They had a new building, and this can be applied to any offices. That normally in each office they had like 2 waste containers, one for recycling and the other one for waste. And for facility of the custodians, each one of those receptacles had like a plastic liner. So if you have like, so you start multiplying and adding the number of waste receptacles, the number of plastic bags of each receptacle, that then, so what we try to do is, instead of each office having one waste container, just to have a centralized waste container per area. So the people will have to just stand up from their computers for like 5 minutes or 3 minutes or however, exercise their legs, and then just reduce all those waste containers from their offices, so that it also makes it easier for the custodians to pick up the trash. And it also creates the conscience, it creates the awareness on what people are throwing away, right? And what goes in recycling and what goes to waste and what do people purchase, right? So it targets like many different different parts of building like a circular economy, or like attending on like education, they're reducing waste, and reducing single-use plastics. In this case, the plastics on each one of the waste receptacles.
That's a great idea. And you said you've had actually implemented that, and it somewhat worked, right? It actually worked.
Yes,
pretty
yes.
well.
We got feedback from the faculty. So this wasn't the School of Education. It was a new building. So I added kind of the email that we sent to the faculty to get their buy-in, and we provided the education, and also an opportunity for them to opt out of the program if they wanted, and get their trash bags, their trash containers back. But it seems that everyone like had not bothered or whatever. So we hope to expand the program to different buildings of the schools. We'll just we'll keep you updated on how that goes.
Okay. But Laura, where exactly is that one in this document? I don't see it. Did you add it in the end?
It's all the way at the bottom. Yeah, all the way at the end.
All the way at the bottom. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I just added that.
Okay. Here we go. Okay.
Yeah.
To build awareness of waste generated. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's great. I think that's easily, and it's one of those easily implementable, and if it has a little bit of education component built into it, most people would agree to. At least, I think we should definitely encourage that. And anybody have any comments on that? Okay, that means I'm guessing, if I don't hear a no, I'm guessing people like it, so we'll keep it. Moving on, there is. I'm looking at Sam's feedback on this. I'm not deliberately not going through each and every one of these, because I'm thinking you all have read it before, and so, but please stop me, folks, if you have any comments or, things that you think may not work or it will work or whatever, right? So
I think, for example, I like the idea of reusable bowls, and it can, again, just speak to the idea of branding. But people, like, even I was talking with some students, and they said that people who are passionate will bring and remember to bring their bowl, but other people won't. So I don't know. It's just always a little bit tricky, right? On how it's just like a stepwise process on just create the conscious on how much trash we're generating to begin with, because people they are not used to bring their own bowls. Like, even if they have a popcorn, they just have to remember. So it just gets to be.
Maybe thank you for bringing that up, because what I meant to say is for theaters themselves to have reusable bowls. They give away, because there's a theater in Oakland that I go to where when you ask for popcorn, they give it to you in a proper bowl, right? And then when you're done, you just leave it there. There's a table.
So and they just wash it and reuse it, right? Like a normal dish.
Yeah.
The old one.
No,
yeah.
nothing. Fine.
So it's not like they expect the movie theater goers to bring their own reusable, but it's they service it.
So we have tried that, like, in the cafeteria here at Nevada State College, and one of the concerns they has, like, oh well, that means we'll have to use water wash the dishes. So they'll be wasting water, right? So like we told them that the water here is recyclable. Well, like obviously the water that we use gets reused and treated and returned to the lake. So it's just because it's so cheap to create the trash, and we don't pay that much for that. They don't think about that.
Yeah,
So
but
another option
go ahead. Sorry.
is properly, then that just still goes to the trash. So
Yeah, but there are studies done by some organizations that show that even with the cost of washing or all that, the reusable bowls and plates and for whatever, they pay for themselves within like 2 or 3 washes compared to single-use stuff. So there is an educational component to that, Laura, that maybe that could be included in
yeah,
that, right?
that's a great point, Lakshmi. I think we need to provide that information, right? Because it's just basically we have to market these reusable containers at different levels, because even napkins, like we organize events and the students, like it has happened to me, we organized an event and we gave the students glasses to drink water, and they throw them in the trash because they are used to have stuff that goes to the waste after they use it, but and they're not even used, and they feel that using like fabric napkins, for example, instead of paper napkins, is very fancy. Obviously somebody has to wash them, right? But yeah, no, I think just providing the information will be super, super useful. And maybe we'll just publicize
Every
that you're
change
doing it. And I really like that idea.
Yeah, every change has to come with some kind of education in the beginning. I guess that there's an investment in that that we need to probably incorporate.
Well, actually, if I can add something to that as well, I think since this is particularly being specific around shopping malls and movie theaters, but if, for instance, we wanted to expand that to just community events in general, especially public events, or open it up to larger businesses, which again we can work to define based off of what Aster was saying earlier. I think it's important to note too, like the resources, so like the dishwashers that would need to be utilized, like not everyone has access to dishwashers that are required to be able to disinfect these things to be reused again later. And so maybe as like a tactic, just promoting, I'm thinking specifically because we ran into the issue here in Washoe County when we were organizing an Earth Day event and had all of these reusables, but nowhere to sanitize them. And maybe collaborating with like the casino industry or having some kind of central location to utilize dishwashers, for instance, if companies or food vendors or people wanted to have that option and didn't have the resources to do something like that. I wonder if we could establish a collaboration or something to be able to use a dishwasher on site somewhere for things like that.
Yeah.
May I say something? I think the product will determine if we can use the dishwasher that can. There's a different setting. Antibiotic, washing 90 minutes and then normal wash. Sometimes I use once 3 days in a week. I use antibiotic. Run cycle but the material we are going to use to disinfect it should be able to sustain that heat, I think. So it depends on the material, everything we can.
Yeah, and from what I've learned, these are industrial dishwashing machines, like the kinds that the casinos would be using. Like this isn't something you can just utilize your home dishwasher to do, especially if this is something that you want to do at a community level or business level. Like we would have to abide by those regulations.
What I said is the product we want to wash, not the dishwasher.
Oh, the actual.
Actual material.
Oh, gotcha.
To sustain the heat. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and exactly the product types. Like you would have to ensure that those materials are able to. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I had put something somewhere else about mobile washing, like a washing machine thing set up that was to be invested. I don't remember which part I put it in, but anyway, it's somewhere here. Kim, I'm going to find that later and then see how we can add this. Working with the casino idea is great. I think we need to put that in there somehow. Yeah. So I'll clean it up, this document later based on your feedback. Sorry.
Just following on what you were saying, Aster, Kim, Lashmi, I think there's also another way of reducing single-use plastics and waste is like the idea, the misconceptions on, and I know that goes to education, but the misconceptions of what takes more water, for example, or what is better if you wash your dishes in the dishwasher or if you wash them by hand. That everyone says like, oh, if you wash them by hand, it takes more water than washing them one way or another, or it takes more soap compared to this and another, right? So there's all these misconceptions about the advantages and disadvantages of using plastics or like ceramics or like materials that are more resistant, just to address what Aster was mentioning on like that if these materials or if the dishes are used multiple times, they need to be resistant to the heat on so they have to be ceramic or glass, like fancy restaurants instead of just to-go restaurants where they just use it once and throw it away.
Yeah, that's perhaps that's something we could. The education team is going to be revamping the PSN
website.
Yeah. So there are some things here, studies that I can point to. I can actually show my screen right now. Share my screen. That might be helpful. Yeah, that we could try and incorporate that into, into their website as well, where this is like the education piece or myths or the myths and facts page or something like that, right? So we could incorporate that. So I'm sorry. Anyway, so we're running out of. I mean, we got 10 more minutes, so I don't want to take too much time here. Laura, point taken. Yeah, I do have some documents on that, some data on that maybe definitely will pass it on to the education team, like you said. So, okay. Any other comments on this? So before we move to the next one.
I just have a question. Does anyone know how much space a movie theater has? Would they be able to store all of the reusable bowls, you think? Or I don't know if that would be a barrier at all that would have to be addressed.
Don't know, but all I can see is I have one example of a movie theater in Oakland. They do a fantastic job. Everything is reusable.
Is it a large movie? Is it a large movie theater?
Not like those big, huge AMC style one. It's more, but they do have two screens, two or three. So, and it's more like built. It's actually very nice. They have like sofas and like more interesting seating and all that. So yeah. But it's definitely something to engage with the movie theater owners to get at least their take on it. So that's why I put these here, Bree. I don't know, like coming back to what Astor said in the beginning, engaging with the stakeholders and talking to movie theater owners and running these ideas by them is, I think, have to be the next step, right? And then and having some metrics. Maybe we can collect some metrics from that other theater, or I can reach out to them. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe they have some savings calculations. So I'll definitely do that. Okay. I don't know if there is. This is more of a. I'm going to skip this one for now because we're running out of time. Because I want to get to others. Is Tammy still on? No.
No, I don't see her.
I think she'd have to drop off. Okay. Because the other one may be related to circular economy. So, did any of you have a chance to read through this, folks? Any comments on this? In clothing industry, retail? I think these are good points.
I'm just going back to what to retail. It's just even the packaging of the products that they receive, just reusing that packaging instead of just things like the clothes as they deliver to the companies, just keep reusing those packaging, either the boxes or the plastic, instead of throwing them away and just using them. So yeah, it will be involving the stakeholders to try to decrease the waste in the clothing and decrease the waste in the packaging associated to the clothing, and that just can translate also to really any products.
You mean here, like, yeah, I see I think what you're trying to say is, if I may rephrase, because it's clothing, packaging can be reused, unlike food and stuff, very easily.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's an excellent point. How do I add a comment in there? Oops. No. I'm not very good at this, am I? Sorry. Okay, I'll add a comment in here.
Actually, if you want, next time you can guide the meeting and somebody takes notes. That way you can focus on one thing. It's super hard to double dip at the same time. So
Thank you, Laura. I think that's a very good point. Yeah, I'm not very good at navigating through this thing. So yeah, good. I'll do that next time. Maybe I'll ask Bree's help. So perhaps Clothing packaging can be reused. Okay, we'll elaborate on that later. Anything else on that one? Okay, I think I think we need to, okay, ESG. Does anybody know what ESG stands for? Did I miss
I was just
something?
about to ask.
Okay,
No.
yeah.
Energy Star certification. She wrote it maybe above strategy from Tamara. Yeah, if you go a bit
Okay.
higher, it says ESG.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I imagine it is anyhow. My best guess.
Okay. We'll check with it tomorrow, and yeah, maybe we'll just add a
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
here.
I'm going to have to leave. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll have to take this up further in 2 minutes anyway. Next time, like I said earlier, next time we will meet at 4:00 instead of 4:30, and two other things. All of you, please add any more ideas, and just keep throwing it in this document, and we'll build on it, right? And I'll try to clean up the comments soon, and also Bria, next time perhaps maybe if you could help with the taking the notes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Lakshmi, is this the only document that we have then, and that we'll be working on for single use?
For single-use
for cost
plastics,
reduction?
yeah, and there for at least all of us in this team are also involved. I think have shown interest in circular economy and the more data collection, data source one. So we need to work on 2 other documents. Yeah, but for single-use plastic and textile, this is it.
Okay.
So just add all your, thoughts and whatever in here. Yeah. And we'll look into cleaning it all up at some point. Yeah. Okay. Any parting comments? Pastor Kim, Bree?
No, I'll also go through this again and just continue to make comments and yeah, go from there.
Yeah. And Astor, I'm sorry, I will get my problem sorted and then ping you soon. All right. Thank you, guys.
Did you
Thank you,
the
Lakshmi.
circular economy?
I just saw your email.
No,
I haven't actually gone through it.